Yeah, I'm gonna take my horse to the old town Angeles City Road. I'm gonna ride till I can't no more. I'm gonna take my horse to the old town road. I'm gonna ride around Angeles City till I can't no more. I got the horses in the back, horse tack is attached. Hat is matty black, got the boots that's black to match. Riding on a horse, ha, you can whip your trike. I've been in the valley of Angeles City, you ain't been up off the porch now. Can't nobody tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing. Can't nobody tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing. Riding on a tractor, leaning with a red horse, beer cheated on my baby. You can go and ask her. My life is a movie, Wrangler on my booty. Can't nobody tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing. Can't nobody tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing. Yeah, I'm gonna take my horse to the old town Angeles City Road. I'm gonna ride till I can't no more. I'm gonna take my horse to the old town road. I'm gonna ride around Angeles City till I can't no more. Whoa.
Uh-huh.
Alright, let's see if we can do that again. Ready?
You're so goofy.
Do it again. Ready? Take two.
Take two.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth, and this is Rico, and we're doing an application for Philippine Airlines. Wow, that white claw really did kick in.
He's such a goofball. Here.
Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm a man of wealth and taste. Well, maybe not the wealth part, but my taste. Oh, what a chase. Met a girl from the Midwest. She thought I was from a movie. I'm George from the Philippines, and she's my Heidi, my sweet bubbly baby's hugger of all times. I was up, cause every live stream is a original, and all the sinners are saints, just a couple of live streamers painting our digital face like a digital devil with a microphone, a camera, and a smile. Come and watch us on YouTube, stay with us for a while. But what's puzzling you is the nature of our game. We built a world of our own, from states to the Philippines, through fiber optic cables and 1,000 digital gates. We talk about our days, the good, the bad, the funny, sharing our life with the world, trading stories for some money. Cause every live stream is original, and all the sinners are saints, just a couple of live streamers painting our digital face like a digital devil with a microphone, a camera, and a smile. Come and watch us on YouTube, stay with us for a while. But what's puzzling you is the nature of our game. Some say we sold our souls to the algorithm's whims, but we're just telling our story, playing life on all our limbs. Heidi with her American charm, me with my Filipino wit. We're just a couple of weirdos making sure our lives fit.
Hey, what's going on? What is going on? Thought I would play a few songs back to back and give time for the room to build up. The goddamn algorithm is so far off right now, and numbers in the game has changed. I thought I would try a trick of some of the bigger live streams. Sometimes they turn on their lives like 20 minutes before. It sends out signals to everybody that there's a live stream. So, plus, it is 5+ years. We've been making videos before we even had the YouTube channel, but the YouTube channel's been 5 years. We're almost at 24,000 natural subscribers, not farmed, not advertisement through YouTube. These are El Natural. True fans die hard that love and hate us, and thank you for years of loving and hating us. um, Hi, you want to say hi? My black son is here. And he's a ninja too. You a ninja too? Huh? Say hi. There it is. Look, the scab on his head. And say hi. What's wrong? He discovered the heating pad last night. I was using it on my leg, and he plopped down on. He's been on there ever since, and now he looks for it everywhere. So, good morning. Good morning. What, honey? I can't bring you up here. Oh, you want up here? Huh? Yeah. Would you like some coffee? Yeah, would you like some coffee? Your dad's here in spirit. We haven't seen your dad in like 24 hours, have we? Yeah, maybe he's gone for good. Huh? I know you don't have a daddy. We'll adopt you out. Really nice. Somebody out there wants a black son. So let me know if you guys want a black son. Mm, this live stream will probably go nowhere. Just used to doing live streams. It's open Q&A discussion of what's going on. I had read a few articles I might actually go through. Somebody was talking about poverty problems and babes. What's the big deal about, living in the Philippines? I keep seeing the YouTube channels and different things where everybody's like, "Oh, it's the greatest place on earth." And what could be so wrong, with all the ladies and scoring and all that, and hundreds of comments came in on that one. So I'll see if I can add. So I guess it's a pro and con thing we can talk about today. And that's about it. Just having coffee and have you guys sit here and suffer with me because officially the doctors have taken me off the steroids, and it's been almost 2 days and it's been a bitch and a half. So somewhere between my crankiness could be why I haven't seen George. But no, yeah, I'm down to nothing. And as of today, there's nothing. So they weaned me off of half of it this past week, and now I'm totally without steroids, and I'm not happy. So, but unfortunately, it's caused massive weight gain, and I'm already big, and it's causing more issues for the lupus than it's helping with my knees, my bones, sciatic problems, and all that. So I am weaning and dieting, so I'm in a real pissy mood too. So, mm. So good morning, good morning. I see Sarah is in the house. Good morning. I cannot see. Weirdly, it does not show me. That's why I have the tablet out here, because it does not feed me on the live stream. Previous people. MB is in the house. Sperlin Edwards. Good morning. Sarah. Let's see. Next, looks like Sarah. Sarah, I can't put up your thing. She says, "Happy Clowniversary." I had done a statement this morning. Sarah said, "Good morning to George and Heidi, and hello to Roomies." And then I can see Raymond. I guess it starts exactly almost when the live stream does. Good morning, Raymond. Harry Walsh is in the house. Good morning. Thank you, Raymond, on the 5 years. Yeah, that video was of us in Florida, and that was like 2019. And we were drinking White Claws and had all of our equipment out. We used to carry everything. We specifically had, and I don't even remember the type of car it was. George said we called it OJ. It's not a Jeep Jimmy, but it was an older truck that was covered. We used to load stuff into that. We made it just our Philippine Antics. We even had stickers that were on the side of it that said Philippine Antics. I'll have to find some footage. But we got magnets like businesses get, and we had them on the side of this white um, car or truck for a while when we used to go do content and go out and about. Kind of interesting. But yeah, the beginning and in Mexico and everything, I just see myself in Mexico, whole different person. I'm twice that size right now. Ain't even kidding. So, and I ate way more. We're not even kidding. That's all me and George did. Like we'd sit around eating candy, and we did even less then and slept more back then. So it's crazy, but it's funny what 5 or 6 years can actually do. So, did you guys see how skinny George was too? So he still looks good. He picks on himself now. I know I'm fluffy. So, but it's so weird. And then lupus has had such a toll in the steroids. So I've been on them since I've been here and before I left, but had to get rid of them. Back in Australia after 2 years, and it's an absolute, oh wow, yeah, place where dystopian, where everyone hates everyone. Yeah, there's zero customer service, zero humanity, and prices are through the roof. I'm hearing that about just about everywhere. People have gone back to the UK. People have gone back to America. Um, there are two versions of America and Australia and Canada in places for people in their minds. And it really does seem like there's something split. And it's sad. It's really, really sad. It's, I wish I had a time machine, but I've heard that also about the UK too. Sorry to hear about that. And it's, and this is why I call the Philippines my home. There might be a lot of bitching about it. There might be a lot of things going on, but I find comfort in being here. So it's, and I keep saying, bitch, my rent is cheaper. So that's where I'm at. So it's like, I just cannot see paying where we had two rentals back in the day. I could not see paying currently. It's like 3 times as much. Those rents are now 3 times as much where we used to live, and I just can't see it. So it's insane. He was already working long hours. I just couldn't see all the cost and everything. Victor, hey, good morning. What is going on? Yes, guys, do a thumbs up. I'm doing a thumbs up now on the live stream, and be sure to comment and ask questions, make fun of my hair, ask who these guys are. Where'd Mary go? I don't know. I don't see Mary anywhere, so she's here somewhere. Brian is in the house. Philly in the Philippines is in the house. Good people, good people. Hey, good morning. Papa in the Philippines is in the house. Speaking of good people, bowl of Fruit Loops. You like that bowl of Fruit Loops? I know, remind you of somebody who disappeared. I'll be doing an MIA in a couple days, but hey, not surprised. Not surprised. Here's the thing. There's times where we're not getting along or whatever. So that's the beauty of a family home and tons of friendly Filipino family members is he can disappear and I can bet my life he's not down on Red Street. And even if he is, it gives my back a break. You know what I mean? And my lips. So I don't give a shit if that's where he is. People like, oh, we know that's where George is. Please, and bring that bitch home to clean my house. Thank you very much. You think I care? So I'm too old for that shit. So, and for the jealousy thing. And it's like, not surprising if I don't hear from him for days at a time, but he's here in spirit. So, I tell you, last time I heard from him was yesterday. And I told him that we got an email saying that the YouTube money had hit the bank. And I think a whole 12,000 pesos. So that'll tell you where the money is for YouTube right now. And that includes sticker and memberships. And I told him, I said, if you want to go by and pick that up so you have, cash, because he uses it when he goes out and about. Haven't heard from him. So gotta love it. But he could be sleeping things away. I know with the passing of his dad and grandmother, there's been a lot of activities, and also he is. It really hit him hard, and it hit me hard when my mom passed away. I was in my 30s; she was 50, and then a few years back. When I say a few years back, George would sit here and correct me and say, "Oh, you mean 2 years ago?" When I say a few, it means before I came to the Philippines, my grandparents both passed away within 90 days of each other, and they were closer to me than my own mother. So to lose all of those and just be stuck with my wicked sisters, um, and a brother I don't hear from, then it was very devastating. So very devastating. Road. Oh, I think it. Yeah, right. Yeah, it's rough. That's the one thing I done that live stream in regards to like meds and medical and everything else. And for the most part, with all my issues, the biggest thing that's getting to me now is the lupus of like tired and like the aches and pains deep in my bones. So kind of gets me like here on my side. I have like sciatica nerve, and it didn't help when I slipped and fell within the year. So when I dislocated my arm, I also twisted my leg, and then it just got worse from there. Everybody, even George has got like he wears a brace for his shoulders. He had knee braces when I met him. George was falling apart when I met him. Like literally, he kept braces on all of his body parts, and I don't, but I need knee replacement, and I have sciatica and um, herniated disc and everything. So now it's a constant pain down my left leg sometimes. So that's my biggest problem. And since I stopped the steroids a few days ago, and officially as of yesterday, I haven't had any at all. It's crazy. So yeah, it'll be. I mean, I thank God now. Like I'm drinking tea and water and using natural remedies, kicking back off the sugar. The doctor got on to me about my weight again, and I'm like, it just got crazy. The reason we made the decision is a few donuts and pizza in a month doesn't equate to like 20 pounds. And so literally I was retaining that much water, and he was finding that I was filled with water, and so pretty much pneumonia and stuff. So it's just bad. That's why I was sick. So I went back and it's just shit right now. So he says, you got to come off of them. My mom was on steroids for 20 years. And that was, she passed away from cancer and um, she had Crohn's disease, but she had been on the steroids for 20 plus years. And they believed that did not help her at all. So, and I already had early stages of osteoporosis. So, anyways, that's where I'm at on that. But medical will make a difference in the Philippines. And it's pretty sad to, you know, when it comes down to, dealing with older age and then being in another country. But it still can be done. It still can be done. It's the cost of living that helps to be able to afford things. And a lot of nice people, very friendly people have got me through this. So nice neighbors and everything. So that's what it was. It was like a Bronco. Yeah. And ours was white. You can see it. Like there's a video of George where he goes by our house in Florida, and you can see all the cars in the front. Them were all ours. We had the white truck, the new SUV that I had, and George had a couple cars in his motorcycle. We had them all in the front. And yeah, we called him the Juice or OJ, and we only used that when we went out, and we had the stickers on it and everything else. Yeah, it was like a Bronco of some sort. Back in the US after being in the Philippines 3.5 years. Hey, Izzy, I don't see why the hate on the US. It's still great here. Well, who's hating? I mean, I get it, but technically what I've been saying or anybody else, I mean, I don't know what the reference is, but um and everybody's circumstances are different. I mean, so everybody's circumstances is different. I sing to my bacon, 20 years on steroids. Yes, my mom forever, never got off of them. Yeah. And mine has been almost 5 years straight because with me having lupus, autoimmune issue, and all the medical conditions I have, to come off of them would almost put me in the bed. And the doctor and me discussed it. I had to push through it the last few days. So it's a matter of pushing through and dealing with the pain. I just didn't want to deal with it. Didn't think I could deal with it, and I had to. Still not pretty, but I feel better almost being off of them than I did with it. It's curing other issues. That is for sure. I'm hoping to, you know, clear up my skin, like my skin was breaking out and everything else. So, mm. So what is going on with everybody? Hoping it's going to stop raining. It has officially, but it's soaked outside. Trying to find that article I want to go through. Waiting for your guys' comments and questions to come in. And thank you again for all your support. People have been reaching out quite a bit. So, hey, what's going on? Good morning. Good morning, Victoria. Good morning. I don't think he was on that type of. He was on. I don't have the exact name of it. He was on that other therapy, testosterone. I think that's similar, but not similar. I think there's. I couldn't even tell you what's in that stuff. I don't think it's because if so, he just would have went and got 50-cent steroids. That's what it cost here versus that whatever. It's totally different. I mean, I'm not going to pretend that I'm a pharmacist, but pretty sure it's HRT or TRT or something, and it's something totally different. Yeah, and he was getting off market stuff. Somebody and several sources were claiming that he didn't even get him from the right place. He was buying generics, so that he wasn't even, so I wouldn't have taken that chance. Yeah. Hey, good morning, and gals. There in Makati, it seems Cal canceled his meet and greet. What's going on? Last I seen different videos, didn't watch the full video about him getting a vehicle, and I never know if that's just him doing content. Like today, he discussed the weather and why people don't discuss more of it, and then he went through that. But for me, it was, um, I watched that. It seemed off a little bit, but I know he's talking about getting a second place somewhere. I thought he was just going to totally move, but all of it always leads to just doing content. Sometimes I just think it's soft clickbait, is what I call it. So, but there must have been something going on if he did, because he really likes those things. We were supposed to do several, but just due to medical issues and things going on with him and trying to get him to do one, we haven't done one since we did one, 2 years ago, or is it probably be even longer than that since we've done one? So, my mother had her back hurt. She had hurt her back badly when she was in her 30s, two brutal back surgeries. She had constant pain in her legs because of the back. Yeah, that's what's going on, and I know I twisted myself out there. So, with my size, I grabbed onto something and then my leg twisted. I've also, over the years, have fell several times. And then I already have herniated disc. It could be due to size, could have been the two car accidents was in over the years. And so I couldn't figure out why it just felt like my upper leg was just burning and then radiating down my leg. And the doctor said, "Oh, that's your sciatica all the way down, and it can be bad." So, and then my right leg has a spider bite. So between the nerve damage in my right leg, which is weird, a troll called out and says, "Oh, you're making that up on a spider bite." Yeah, I'm making up that I have a hole in my leg where the spider totally ate up my leg years and years ago. I've even shown it on during YouTube and videos of it, and I'm like, "Yeah, let me just make up that a brown recluse bit my leg up a long time ago and caused damage." But between the balance and walking, between that, I don't need hip replace like, one of my sisters need hip replacement. I that's what I thought it was when I asked the doctor, and I was like, "Is it due to my size?" But I was like, "No, it's those herniated discs that are on that's on the MRI." And they said, "No, that's what's probably causing it plus the weight gain." And I'm like, "Okay, I get that." So now I gotta cut out all my junk again and eat even healthier. So I got to make 100% good decisions instead of like 80% good decisions in the day. They said, "Yeah, you got to cut everything out. Steroids will help." But the balance is off. Let me get back to that. The balance is off. So sometimes when you start walking weird, then you just start walking weird and then it makes it harder. But I got to keep moving. So I already stay up and clean and move and go outside and all of that. And they were talking about me doing some additional walking. And I said, "Yeah, one goddamn thing at a time." You're starting to piss Heidi off right now. It's like I started talking to her like, "You're making Heidi mad right now because you got me off the steroids and I'm not on any pain medication and I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't get any sugar or junk food." I mean, so those little treats I've had in the last couple weeks where I was cheating on where I was supposed to be eating for my lupus diet are totally freaking gone. So now it just it just stinks out the butt, but hey, I think I'll start feeling better soon. Oh, what was that? Who did that? One of the cats just yelped out in the background. Yeah, Aziza is just saying Mark was injecting himself. Sperlin says it's sunny and clear here in Lapita. I guess it's calm before the storm. Isn't there like when I looked at that app that I installed a while back called Storm or something somebody recommended? Um, it showed there were a few of them out there. Let me take a look. Windy, not storm. It's called windy. Let's see what's going on. Well, there's still one nearby. Yeah, I see two of them right now, but they're the ones. Yeah, so it kind of is showing one's way above on the other side, and the other one's on. I guess it's the other side. So yeah, let's see if it dries out. Who knows? So maybe it will. Always raining. And where George was out there, like in that video, you can see where he was spraying the ground, getting rid of like all the mold and slime and all that. It's already back. It already came back. So I'll either have to have him go through there again, or we have like a brush that I get out there and I scrub it. So it's like metal. And weirdly, all the companies had that on back order online and stuff. It's because everybody's looking for one of those metal brushes. Good morning. Good morning. Bad boy is in the house. And guys, if you're not subscribed, we're on the verge of 24,000. I think we're short less than 100 people. Make sure that you are subscribed to the channel because YouTube has been unsubscribing and dropping and everything else. So just make sure that you're subscribed. It helps the channel. Helps push it out in the algorithm. So we can send George off to Walking Street and for his funeral funds. Good morning, Ruby. Good morning. Sweet girl is in the house. Hey, Ruby. Kind, beautiful. Ruby is very good people. Very good people. Officially, spring weather is here. And 29, huh? Oh, by the way, I want to give you a little bit of gossip that's going on here in the neighborhood. It really ain't gossip. I just know it's going to be a hot mess after a while. Um, 1 second here. Okay. So we told you that there's these people that are a couple doors down from us that have these dogs and cats. And like one night we found one loose cat and he was sitting out in the rain and he seemed to be pedigree, what I would call pedigree or something. We brought him in, but we didn't know where he came from, which was dangerous. I don't recommend doing it. I was just stupid that night. And this was a while back. This is months ago. But we got to know the two guys that were down there. And then one day we had caught one of their dogs. We knew it was their dog. We brought him into the yard and so he didn't get hit. I'm sure that they're involved in this, but they've opened it's not a pet shelter. They're selling cats. They're selling animals. I can hear the dogs. So what they've done is they've taken these are what I would call duplexes, but they're more like they're not condos. They're townhouses. Like if you lived in Ohio in the Midwest, you will see where they're called townhouses. Basically, upstairs, downstairs, not quite apartments. They call them apartments here. To me, with them all attached like this, it's more like a townhouse situation. They're paying rent for the place next door officially. Same ones we said were buying Nike shoes and spending up money and got several vehicles. The pet trade must be paying well here, and because they're always home and that's what they do. They took on the place next door and now they've just got pets in there. And in the middle of the night, 2, 3 in the morning, less than a few days ago, they're making obscene noise to bring in equipment, and then they set the place up next door in the middle of the night. They've got a sign out there now for selling animals. And now I could hear them building, and now I can hear the animals through the house. Like I swear you can hear 3 neighbors down because of the concrete or whatever that these are built in. And I started thinking about that. That's crazy. They've actually rented an entire place out just to breed and sell animals. And I'm thinking, isn't there something illegal about being in a residential area with that many animals screeching all the time? Or if a Filipino is going to say anything about what's going on or whatever, because it's kind of insane, but who knows? That's the deal. That's one of the pet peeves that I have about the Philippines is in residential areas. They are running businesses. And I'd almost bet my shorts on it in George's life. They don't have the licensing for all of this. They might. Maybe they took the time to get all the proper permits to house animals inside of a empty building, but the landlord has to know. So, because he just rented it out a few days ago to them. So, I think it's insane. I don't know what your guys' opinion is on that one, but it just blew my mind. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. That's not on their door. They actually took on the one next door also. So, they've got 2 side by sides. They got gates separating them and everything else. And it's kind of insane. Yeah. So, let me know what you guys and then you will get others' opinions that, oh, if you're living in a richer neighborhood, which I wouldn't be doing back in America, that you wouldn't be dealing with that, and that's not the truth either, because you can go into some nicer places that are 3 times the rent we have here, and they still run businesses. Um, the same place used to be crazy. It used to be some sort of cake and cookie seller, and there was nothing but trash in their front yard. There was nothing but big bags of ripped trash all covering the inside of the concrete inside the door area. And I'm like, yeah, that was kind of scary. But he said he canceled it because of the storm coming. Okay, well, that makes sense. Gotcha, Sperlin. The meet and greet has not been canceled. Cebu Pacific sent him a notice about possible bad weather. on Friday. Better person than me on all that traveling. That's for sure. Good morning. Hey, Slick Rick is in the house. 24 degrees Celsius. Hey, what's going on? Bernardo Magic just had to come in and say, why doesn't your subscribers just lay off of Mark? It's been over a year. Nobody's messing with Mark. So calm down, please. Because evidently your statement, not your circus, not your monkey, and it's not yours either. Where is your skin in the game? Nobody's hurting nothing. Nobody's hurting anything. Nobody ever picked on Mark to begin with. As a matter of fact, that just came up in a conversation last week with me and George. It's funny how people will say we're picking on people. That's the way you see it. That's not picking, that's discussing, bringing something up, and especially when there's something to discuss about what had happened. That is a lesson to be learned about living here in the Philippines. So many things he did went wrong. And then people want to throw shade on my past 20 years ago. I'm like, what the fuck does that got to do with anything now? What is the deal? Nobody said that. And I mentioned steroids. Somebody mentioned the hormones, not the same. That's not picking. That's your site. Remember, I'll be in the Philippines in November for my birthday. November. Danda, happy birthday. Happy birthday. Hey, maybe I can have another birthday. Maybe it'll be my off of steroids birthday. Oh, shit. Spring. Yeah, look at that. 16 degrees Celsius max and minimum 11. Yeah, that would be nice. Right? Yeah, I'm actually wondering on that. Well, here's the thing. Thank God that one's many doors down, but once the heat kicks up and everything, I know that they're loud. I can hear the puppies. Weirdly, they've got more beagles and smaller dogs than they do the cats, but it says cats is what they're selling. It mentions feline, so but they've got tons of animals. So Bad Boy says I'm traveling for 6+ months. It takes you that long to get here, huh? Heidi, looking back 5 years ago with your medical issues like lupus, would you still move to the Philippines? Yes, of course. I knew it when I left. I knew that I did, and I know that as a matter of fact, I feel that although I've changed some, I don't feel that I've gotten due to, I mean, I'm getting treatment here. So there's nothing that I haven't been able to deal with so far. So self pay is still doable with our income. And of course, yes, I would. So 100%. I don't feel that it actually changed anything. So we knew about 8 months before we left about the lupus. And for those that don't know, my daughter also has it, and she's in her mid-30s. And I also believe my mother might have. So all of the signs, along with her cancer, and she already had issues, was pointing to she may have had it. Good morning, Robin Mari is in the house. Good morning. Izzy and Chris, because he was irresponsible with his health and had a child at a late age. Also, he had the confrontations, that he had at that cafe where he got in a fight. Then he decided to do content about it, and then he didn't want anybody else doing content about him doing content. And there was so much of a lesson. It doesn't matter who was wrong or right on that. He had got in a fight with a guy outside of a cafe. The people in the cafe talked to us. There were other people in town that says his behavior was like that through that area. So defend him all you want and all that and get upset. But unfortunately, there was a lot going on with him, and he's the one that put his life on YouTube. I expect the same, and it's just where it is. And so much to learn from it. And we will continue to cover expats when this comes up. You know, someone the other day actually brought up Peachback Mountain and told us to mind our business. I was like, shit, that is old. We haven't even brought them up for what, a month or something? They brought that up the other day, that why we were picking on them just to make content. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? They went into full defense about them. Their comment got held. And I was like, what are you talking about? What did they do? What'd they do to you? You're only using because you guys need content and blah, blah. They didn't do anything wrong. And I'm like, well, first off, they lied to their people that they were married. Their entire channel, all the titles, my wife is this, my wife learned from this. Everything was about being married in the Philippines and trying to tell people and teach people about it. And then it was a lie. Of course, we're going to cover it. Then you go and do some cheating with somebody else's husband up in the mountain in front of your man. He finds out about it. The baby isn't even his. Of course, this whole thing we were going to talk about. Then it was dealing with land. Somebody else started talking about the land wasn't hers. It possibly doesn't even belong to her. There was all these possibilities of what the hell? Go sit down somewhere. What are you talking about? Of course. Lupus will be the least of your issues long-term steroid use. Yes. Osteoporosis, yeah, is not good. Quit fooling yourself. Diet, nutrition with mild exercise. No, I already know that. Not even a surprise on that, healthy expat. And good morning. No, I'm only fooling myself with the amount of weight I gained in the last 30 days and what the steroids has been doing to me. I'm well aware that being extremely overweight and all this is going on is a problem. So yeah, I'm most definitely. And you don't even know the other half of my medical problems. So I had to make that decision to totally come off of that. And considering I don't have any habits, I challenge anybody to tell me they have zero habits, and they be lying. I'm sorry. You know, when I say that, there's always so many people that come forward and they're like, I don't have no habits. I'm a vegan. I eat fresh vegetables only, and that's it. I'm good. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't, unprotected sex. And they go through all these things of how perfect their life is. I'm like, bullshit. Everybody's got habits. Everybody has these habits. There's something going on. So I quit smoking years and years and years ago, probably about 6 years ago. And that wasn't even a heavy smoker. So I gave up smoking, which is one of the hardest goddamn things to do. I don't drink at all. So I gave up drinking totally. Okay. And then it's kind of like, and for the most part, besides the donuts and getting some fast food and pizza on the occasion, right now, 80% of the time, I don't even do the fast food or anything else. I got back in a bad habit the last 2 months. So I have more self control than people know. I just eat the wrong things. And I have multiple medical conditions that are not helping with the weight loss. And then, so I'm aware of it. I have to try harder. So it's not without trying in years. I've been dieting since I was 18 years old and had my first kid. My metabolism is shot. You can say, oh, it's all your fault and you just sit around and eat all day. That's what people assume. They're full of shit. So it really is rough. So I've given up everything for quite some time. And so, sugar is my weakness. It is. So that's where it is. Not easy. It's a challenge in itself, and all of it's natural. I mean, I get to deal with some acetaminophen, and that's it. And tons of water, fruits, and vegetables right now, and it sucks out the ass. No wonder George is not here today. But it is what it is. I mean, if I want to be here for a few more years, that's what I do. 6 months in the Philippines. Most I've ever stayed there is 4 months. You've got a good break and have fun in the Philippines. Yeah. Thank you so much, bad boy. Thank you. I appreciate you being here. No family member is renting my home off for me for 6 months, right? Hey, Enigma, what is going on? I was trying to read Victoria's next. Hey, good day, Enigma. You said that's nice as I commented. Oh, the drunk girls got knocked up by another American. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's kind of crazy. Hey, Curtis, good morning from Zamboanga. How are you doing? What is going on? Ooh, yeah, Victoria's talking to Ruby about does Melbourne get the blowflies? That's a good indication that the weather is warming up. Hey, Thomas. George seen your email the other day. He started discussing Paraguay. Don't know anything about it. Been to Belize, been to Mexico, been deep down in Miami. It seemed like we were there. But no, I don't know anything about it. He started to look it up, and they say that it's a fraction of the cost of the US, 60, 70%, probably kind of like living here. And yeah, I mean, I can't see, actually leaving from here, but it may be a good idea. I know, you know, you had mentioned that 4,800. My wife had two aunts with over 100 years. No one warned me that I could be stuck with her for another 70 years. Right? Yeah. And that's something that I had to think about the other day. I'm like, shit, I know I keep talking about how I'm old and not feeling well and all this. I was like, man, I'm only 54 years old. I said, I could be alive another 30, 35 years. This is what kicked me into overdrive because the steroids was just breaking me down. So, yeah, you got to preventative. And I thought I was already doing preventative. Like, literally, there's no packaged food. If anything comes in, it's the donuts that we bring in or we order something in. We used to keep nothing but junk. There used to literally be a shelf of junk food here, and George would grab snacks while we were editing and all this stuff. We would order out on top of that. There was candy in the house all the time. It hasn't been in the house for probably 6 months. I order it on the side when we get the donuts or we order the food, but we don't keep it in here all the time. So I've been like physically, manually cooking healthy food. I just fell off the wagon on the occasion, but you have to do the preventative. And now I have to even hit it harder than ever. And so it sucks, man. It really sucks. Never smoked my entire life. One glass a year anniversary, and still have diabetes. Yeah, I'm surprised. A lot of people say, oh, with me being big, they thought I had diabetes. Eating healthy and exercise to live longer quality of life. Nothing more important than your health. For the most part, I've tried, but I've just failed. It's not without trying. I have a daughter that's of normal weight, and she's going through the whole struggles that I am. She's always on making sure she's dieting and eating healthy, but then she falls off the wagon and she eats junk all the time. And so it's a struggle, a large family history. And I don't give a shit what anybody says. Hereditary does make a difference. It really does. So it is 3, 4 generations back that all the women are plus size in our family. And it is like my dad is super skinny, but his mom is big. So it's rough. But I'm trying, at least. I'm trying. It's a and believe me, I could be double the weight and bedridden. I mean, if I'd have gave up a long time ago, it's exactly where I'd be. So every day's a struggle, but I keep going. That's what counts. Got to keep moving. So same time zone. Oh, gotcha. The food quality is why I won't go to the Philippines. A lot of people do say that. Um, No, they do. The diabetes is serious here. Yes, most definitely. And they're saying it is because of rice. Oh, they say that's where it's leading from. I did switch George. We have brown rice in the house. We don't keep pasta in the house. We don't do potatoes or french fries. 100% on my life, we don't fry stuff. If we do, it comes from the outside. Like 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 fried chicken, and that's even on the occasion. Our downfall is the sugar situation, and it was the packaged food forever. We were like George drinks Coca-Cola. I don't drink it because of my stomach. The soda is one thing. A lot of people think I drink a lot of soda. I don't. But we were doing protein shakes forever too. But we were doing the wrong ones that we'd put bananas and fruit in. And doctors like, you do realize that could be close to 1,000 calories right there alone with all that in there. And I was like, well, I guess I didn't think of it that way. So fall in love with healthy food. Yes, diabetes definitely can be hereditary. We don't. We just have heart problems, obesity, no strokes. George's side of the family has strokes really bad. And I definitely believe, unfortunately, George will pass away sooner than me, even with my issues. He's got strokes in the family. George, when I met him, his blood pressure was over 200. It stays like that almost constantly. So he's constantly got high blood pressure. And, for a man that stays so calm most of the time, he's always got high blood pressure. So the wife hates going out to eat. She likes cooking at home. Yeah, healthy lasagnas next on the menu. We do eggs, and what was it? We had green beans. Like we got the Baguio green beans yesterday. It's pretty good. And we had chicken. So, hey, what's going on? Ronald is in the house. Yeah, let us know, bad boy. Definitely let us know. And that way I can rope George off and everything. Most definitely. Hey, what's going on? He said, Heidi and George are in my prayers. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, he's been going through a really rough time. I don't even know how he's even dealing right now. And then you got to remember, I've already discussed this with you guys that he's very quiet, very passive, very. I didn't even know his dad's been sick for like 2 or 3 months. That would explain some of his issues. I was telling somebody that I wish he would open up more, and it doesn't give him a pass, but it does. It does and doesn't at the same time. But he should. He was like that when I met him. Like he said, he goes, "Well, none of this is a surprise." He goes, "I was like this when you met me." I was like, "Yeah, I was crazy when you met me, so just keep that in mind." All right, I'm gonna let you guys comment why I pull this up and see if we can get the conversation going in here on the what I had found here on the pros and cons thing. Okay, now it's not probably gonna come open because it'll be interesting. All right, so the person was saying something about the cons of retiring in the Philippines. All I hear is about the great weather, how cheap the prices are, and how beautiful the women are, and how safe the neighborhoods are. And I wonder what country he's coming from. But then again, in just about every country, there's unsafe neighborhoods. The guy was like, "What am I missing? Is it what I'm just seeing on social media?" So, yes, depending on what people are showing, even if things are going south, they're going to tell you all the positive and everything. Somebody came in and says, yeah, you're going to be dealing with messed up government, corrupt, lots of red tape, lots of traffic pollution and trash, people asking you for money, infrastructure, barely working, and unwalkable cities. It depends on where you're at on all of that. I was just watching one of the other vloggers that I like, and people disagree. I watch Rebeauty, although she's highly scripted too, like the Filipina P. She brings up a lot of good points, and she does show herself out in the province, like almost on her daily situation. So she moved out to the province, bought some land and everything else. Because I just started watching her within the last few months, and she was going on about all of this. And she went on about how bad the electricity and the power outages can be here. And when something goes wrong, sometimes at the local barangay offices or the offices dealing with buying the property or whatever else is going on, when there's a mistake within, usually you pay for that mistake anyways, just to get past it. You just want to take care, you get through the red tape and everything. Um, and it's the way it is. You learn there's a certain way of living when you're outside of your own country. But, you know, in retrospective, things are changing in everybody's home countries now. Even in the last couple years, so much has changed in your own home country, and you have to decide whether you're going to stay, tough it out, or go back to what's there and find that, hey, it's not better over there. It's better in just staying where you're at. So I'll go through here looking at some of the comments here. Somebody talking about the internet. Oh, somebody else said the same thing. Unreliable electricity, flooding problems are getting to be an issue. Um, the sidewalks and roads can be a hot mess. Sometimes when I'm reading this, I'm like, yeah, I already know all that. We know that's going on. Seems to be repetitive, but some people don't know. Here's the thing. 5 or 6 years ago, I'd have been like, "Oh my god, it's just all these problems are here," but when you realize that it's getting worse sometimes in your own country, and I'm not just talking about America, I'm talking about all the countries. Over in Europe, things are getting tough, and things are in other countries all the way around becoming a hot mess. What I mean, I can go through a whole list, use your imagination of what's going on from immigration all the way down to prices and jobs and everything. Things are tough all over. So the Philippines seems to be looking better and better for a lot of people. Somebody said here it's the constant begging of people is the worst here than any country. I've been to a lot of countries. I would say I would agree with that. Um, Unlike any place that I've been, it does seem that way. And almost a given. It's almost like, I told you the other day, George went out and several people asked him for money in our own neighborhood. And it's like, oh, by the way, the carolers were here again. So they've been here every night. The carolers are here already. They came again. And this time, the kids literally did that thing on the trash can, like they were kicking the trash can and they were banging on it. And I'm like, that's not going to make me come out. Yeah, I'm just reading through here. Too damn hot, man. Just really, really hot. They're talking about the starving and suffering dogs and cats everywhere, which I would agree. There's a lot of sick animals. I encountered the one that was out in the rain and everything. And like George says, don't even touch him. We couldn't even. And I feel bad because I can't I can't take him somewhere and go pay for a vet bill like that. He was already 99% dead. And I told the guy, I said, no, I can't take him. I can't, it's going to infest the cats inside. He had something really, really bad. And he could have actually even belonged to the neighbor that was because he's closer to the neighbor's house across the street. And George goes, I could have just crawled out of their gate over there in one of their sick animals or something. And he goes, yeah. He goes, he said, just leave him alone. We walked away and I felt really bad. George went back out and laid some food. The cat did eat, but he was under the neighbor's car. And he goes, I think that's one of their kittens that came from that last batch. And so it was just sad. George, when he's out on the e-trike, he keeps food and he feeds the pets when he's out and about. It is very sad. subpar medical. The medical is here. If you're not in the right areas and cities, it can be an issue. Oh, yeah, obesity is bad everywhere. They're saying the women are getting bigger here. I would say in the last 5 years, I'd say I've seen them do it, and I'm a big girl. So game recognizes game. The Filipinos are getting bigger. So even in the last couple years, it's the fast food, it's the junk food, and it's easier to eat junk food. That's just been a given for me, and that is hence a lot of my weight is from the junk food. I ain't even gonna lie about that, and the donuts. So ain't even gonna go lie about that. I mean, I don't see where that's going to change somebody. Like a lot of this is dealing with coming to the Philippines and what's so bad. I don't know why the mention of overweight Filipinos, but it was mentioned by somebody in here. They're just saying also on top of it, there's a lot of unhealthy food. Everything's full of sugar or salt. Corruption's out of control. And someone said, man, that is the cold, hard truth. Somebody goes, man, I'm a Filipino, and I'm going to tell you right now, don't get sick in the Philippines. Uh, that should be the biggest concern for everybody in being alone during the retirement stage because, like, I'm well aware and try to deal with it and think about it, but not think about good chance. I'd probably bet on 80% George will pass away first. And so that's going to leave me here alone with no family members, and then I would have to hire somebody in or hope that in another 20 years when he does or 30 years pass away, I guess robots will be here. Maybe. I kind of try to think about that. Something there'll be some sort of caretaker situation by then. But the ones that are now in their mid 70s, how old is Paul? Old dog. And how old is Mike's retirement and all them guys? Aren't they in their late 60s, early 70s? And the deal is I'm 50 something. I've got to be one of the younger ones that are doing the YouTube. You got Brian that's young. Brian, I believe you're the same age if you're still in the house. But the older expats that are 20 something years older than me, 15 years. Yeah, the guy's 70. Anyways, you got the point that they're 15 to 20 years older. They're already at a stage where they need to start worrying because some of them aren't married, and getting to the appointments can be a problem because they don't always live in the city and everything. So it's a medical should be your biggest concern. It should be, and it is for me. But here's the thing: someone may be thinking like I was when I left. I was in better shape when I left, and the deal will come around that I would just be dealing with it in the US. Yes, I would have still had Medicare working. And, it depends on like where people live. There were some complications with the US medical system is not the greatest. And if you guys say it is, yeah, better than the Philippines and better than not having anything. But sometimes when I was getting an appointment, it took months to get into a doctor. That was 5 years ago. And so it's kind of hard saying where it would be now. It's something that I did gamble with. So, but there are guys that never go to a doctor at all. We know that's the truth too. We know that's the truth. Bad boy says treats on me. Yeah, it's gonna have to be a salad, man. A salad and chicken. I'll just make sure I don't eat any sugar or junk food forever. Sugar is no joke, man. Like I have a sister does nothing but eat fried foods. Like she fries everything, tons of oil goes in everything, and plenty of actual junk food. It's the one thing I don't do, but I do eat more sugar. George isn't sugar, but he's all salt. Like he'll sit here and eat salty nuts. He'll sit here and eat potato chips for lunch. He goes through all the salty food on the streets. He salts everything. Not me. I eat ice cream if you let me for dinner. Wife taught the entire family how to cook without MSG and magic syrup. I tried magic syrup. It's really wicked, man. That stuff is so salty. So I cook more with garlic, onion, and then I use all the spices, rosemary and thyme and all of that. Can't wait to meet you guys. Be there Monday, but not sure when we'll be in Manila. Yes, keep in contact, guys. Because especially now, like almost continuously for a week, he's been over at the family's house and he goes there all the time with his uncle. So pretty much it's almost been a full time job being out and about for him. I'm here, but in order for me to go somewhere to visit you guys, I would definitely have him, like we would use the e-trike to go out and about or something, and he's the one that rides the e-trike. So, and I need to be able to rope him back in if he's over, because it's literally 40 minutes away where he's at. So, yeah. This is my big break after losing my rock, my father. Just Tunisia this year I've done. Oh yeah, so sorry. It's hard. There's always someone, and I wasn't super honestly, I wasn't super close with my mom. I was close with my grandparents. Like they were more of my parents than my mom. My mom bonded with my older sister, and me, I was stuck, like I had a younger sister than me that was always sick, always having surgery, so she tended to her all the time. I was that lost kid in between. So it was my mother had a certain way about her, kind of like George says I do to him sometimes. It's like, not right now, George. Like George is trying to get a hug when I'm right in the middle of cooking or standing and doing laundry. And I'm like, and I'm like, calm down, George. And my mom would do the same to me. So kind of a push away type of person during certain situations. But my grandparents were very loving. And it really hurt really bad when they passed. Really, really bad. And it still does. Like I have photos up in the house and everything, and it just hits you all at once. And I told George he'll be going through that too. I said, I don't think you're fully grieving. And he will. He still hasn't hit that point. For September 3700, never turned AC at all because it was cool, especially at night. Open all the windows. Yeah, here it's not too hot. Ours ran and our electric bill was 78, I think it was 7,800. So, but that's all the time. And we have everything. So I don't know. I was discussing it the last time. We have the equipment we run here, all the charging, the tablets. We have multiple fans. We have a dehumidifier. We have a couple air purifiers. We have hot water heater upstairs and downstairs now. We have coffee makers. We have ice maker. We have a refrigerator. We have a deep freezer. The electronics never stop here, so it's a constant move of electricity. I know the highest one we ever had was at the other place, 12 or 13,000 pesos. So, and that was one room half the day of AC. So the whole downstairs is AC now. So, oh man, and don't forget about the skin tax. So true, Brian. So true. Don't forget about that. Matter of fact, that's what Rebeauty was talking about. She says, "Oh, that just doesn't apply to foreigners. It'll apply to Filipinos, and it's been applying to her." And I've heard other Filipinos say that. Goddamn, George gets skin tax big time, and I get that they can tell that he had just returned, but he's been here for like 5 years, gaining his accent and everything, and they still hit him. And I think it's because, and that's when I'm not around, they're still doing it because he just seems, I hate to say it, out of place sometimes. And he gets skin tax, she gets skin tax. If you're in a different place and or you're dealing with things, they know to hit you. It doesn't matter. So if, like, let's say that Rebuti came over here to Angel City and she's buying at the market, they're going to skin tax her when she gets there because she's out of town. Yeah, I guess it'd be the same in the US, but you really get hit with skin tax in the Philippines. I didn't feel skin taxed in Mexico or Belize or Europe or Canada. I feel it here. And sometimes it's discouraging because George asked me last week, he's like, "Oh, you want to go to the market today?" I was like, "Oh, well, it's hot and it's already sprinkling, so I don't want to get wet." And I started making every excuse, and I was like, "They just gonna freaking skin tax me. I might as well know what I'm paying and place an order, or wait the next time we go to the store." So sometimes it's kind of like, ugh, gringo tax, gringo tax. Hey Brian, have you felt the throttle of YouTube, like on the live streams? I guess it's not dramatic enough, but it seems like they're holding us under 60 right now during our live streams. It's weird. So it's kind of like the last probably 10 live streams. I mean, I guess we can make some Telemundo drama and, hope something goes south for an expat so we can like do some content. But I mean, there are other things we can cover, but it just seems like something's up with the algorithm, like majorly up. I mean, we used to get these numbers 5 years ago. We've had 50 people in a room, 60 people in a room a long time ago, and we have legit numbers where these just aren't made up numbers. So I'm just kind of tripping. Could be because George isn't here and nobody loves me. But I'm just wondering if anybody else is feeling that in there. Because I just looked up, yeah, the number's not budging. Yeah, this went back down. England has the most expensive gas and electricity in the world. Pay just under 200 per month. How much is the gas per gallon or per liter? Because here, give or take, it's like $1 something per liter. It's about four something a gallon. I haven't checked. And the same with electricity. I thought the Philippines had the most expensive. Ride the way of chaos and change, right? Oh, Ruby's talking about so true. Even margins are sweet. Yeah, we only use Anchor butter from New Zealand for the bread. We get the unsalted one. And we use like I use and I have for months been using the olive oil. So that's what and I've been doing lately, like bean burgers. And oh, believe me, most of my diet is clean. You would be surprised. But like the doctor said, calories do add up. So it does. It does add up. I was like, man. And especially over a certain age, it doesn't matter. Everything sticks to you. It doesn't matter. It sticks. I'm hoping coming off these steroids, there should be a substantial drop. He was like, "What the hell?" I said, "Yeah, you'd think I was having 3 dozen donuts a day and pizza because you're not." I said, "No, I wish." I told George I wish I could eat based on. He said, "Yep." I said, "Gotta go." When I travel, I have a pocket Wi-Fi on me. Yeah, some people do. It makes a difference. Unreliable electrical infrastructure is going to be a norm in America. Yeah, I'm wondering when that's going to drop. So, yeah, so much changes on a daily basis, so much information, so much misinformation in America. I just don't even know what to believe anymore. So now I just watch like reruns of Nick at Night and just pray. Just like, what me and George did the other day when all that stuff was going on with Charlie and the president and all these things that were going on in the Philippines and all the bad weather. We did like where people got like those blocks of 6, 8 hours of stuff from the 80s, and it will show like Nick at Night or the cartoons or old TV. We would just watch that and then we would just have that running in the background while we were doing stuff, and we just like we just tuned out and stuff because there's so much going on. So, start a jet ski business, best transportation for the flooding. Yeah, that'd probably be the best. Our internet at home in the Philippines is quite strong. 500 MBs fiber connection. Yeah, I don't know what ours is. It's through Globe. It's like 2,400 a month, give or take. Let's see what it shows. But it's way cheaper than the US. Thank God for that. I know that I found the Philippines internet to be better than in Mexico. Mexico, if we uploaded any videos, it could take 4 hours. And here, I don't know, 15 minutes or less. So it makes a big difference. But the problem is the stability is the what we have a problem with. So here all the time, like when George is gaming or we're doing videos or it's very unstable though when it can actually go out and wow, gotta love that. Some of the apps and things that go on here in the Philippines blows your mind. Never mind, I can't see it because it logged me out again. So yeah, the 6 month break is for me to make up my mind if I'm from the pension ages but can still work online. Gotcha. I spoke Rich. They will know by 6 p.m. today if the meet and greet will continue or be canceled. Oh, you spoke to Rich? Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of bad weather. I hate the roaming herd of strays in developing countries. There's a lot of them here. Like I said, I didn't see them in Mexico. There were some dogs and cats in Mexico and Belize and Europe, but not like here. They're really everywhere. And that's what blows my mind because when we've had the kittens or the extra cats we've had the last couple years and we try to rehome them individually, we've been lucky because of other expats or that. And this last batch we worried about because people we'd call them or ask and nobody's wanting to take them. I said, I'll just put a sign out front. He goes, nobody's going to take these cats or any extra dogs or puppies or, that you're trying to rehome for people or that you found sick and healed them and stuff. That's why I'm surprised this guy up the street's doing a business. He's renting out an entire space, which is almost the amount that some people make a month just to sell cats and dogs. It's crazy. So I don't even know how they're selling. You realize how many people are selling cats and dogs here with all the ones roaming the streets and stuff? It's amazing. But I guess they're wanting kind of like we talked about how Filipinos wear the fancy clothes and look in the part in the fancy cars and still trying to keep up with the Menendezes next door and all of that situation. I guess it's a real thing. They want to be seen with a pedigree animal, I guess. I don't get it. That is for sure. Who would come to a meet and greet? I don't know. It's hard saying. Or Queensland butter. I thought Queensland butter was not. Oh, that's right. Queensland butter is pure. No, them are good ones. Elon Musk released the P1 cell phone with free Starlink connection worldwide for 780. Hmm. Yeah, and it works here. Saw a study that 80% of Filipinos accept and agree with the corruption. Well, I hate to say it, if they're not fighting against it or busy trying to survive, then I guess they're going with it. But I would say the same thing that's going on with the US right now on all things from A to Z going on in the US. Evidently everybody is with it. So it's I would say the same, but it's crazy. It's crazy. Probably just busy trying to survive. So, hey Jim, what is going on? You mentioned a problem with immigration. Can you expand? You'll have to remind me what that is. My immigration? There's nothing wrong with my immigration. I mentioned something the other day. Did I mention something today? I was just reading off of here, but I don't believe I did today. My immigration is fine. I have a 13A based on being married to a Filipino, and I've had my permanent residency for a while. So mine is permanent. But as far as any problems with immigration, um, every office is going to be different on the type of documents you bring in or what you're actually going to need depending on your visa and your stays. And I, per se, have no problem with immigration. They've been kind and courteous, and everything's worked out as far as I'm concerned. I've never had any problems in 5 years. So I've paid my fees. There's never been anything extra. There's never been, only that one time did the guy say he couldn't accept our marriage certificate without it being apostille and then told me to go home. That's the only issue we had. That was a while back. So, because I've had my permanent for a while, it was a year on the other one. So, this had been almost 2 years ago. So, yeah. So, no problem here. Yes, they do eat dogs and cats in the Philippines. That's not a joke. Obesity in the cities is getting bad, but not so bad in the province. I just think it's the access to the food and having the ability to get to it. And then out in the province, they tend to eat the fresher stuff from the markets and what they have. The fast food is here. Getting old is BS. Yeah, it's not pretty. Yeah. As much as I like Dunkin' Donuts, yeah, I only bought one Choco Butternut in my entire stay. It was tempting to eat more. I didn't. That and yeah, it's not easy, and especially like growing up with the kids. Like it's like the hot pockets and the junk food. Same with George. Every time he's out, he'll bring something in. And when he brought donuts in the other day, it was 12 of them. I've actually got 4 or 5 of them that are frozen because neither of us touched them after that. So yeah, but he does bring in a dozen at a time. And it's easier to eat the junk, ain't no kidding. So instead of cooking sometimes, but or to order, that's the other thing about being in the city. I watched your video about the place you were looking at, 20,000 pesos. Yeah, that was a while back. So, yeah. Our rent has not gone up here in a few years, so I'm just curious when he is. Probably knock on wood, I probably shouldn't mention it, then it'll actually go up. But like George said, there's a place just like this, literally half a block away in the same subdivision that is below this. As a matter of fact, we're paying more here than the other people are, and theirs is a newer building. So, always going to be another place to actually move. But that's why I'm really surprised that they actually took on the actual place next door to do these pets. It blows my mind. It really does. There must be some real good money, or they're laundering something. Laundering. That'd be my second guess. But you didn't hear from me. Medical everywhere is location, location. Yes, it is. Yes. Curtis says we are building a home in Butuan, basically to next to my sister and her husband. It's important to have people to rely on, most definitely. A Brian says, Heidi, when George passes away, you won't have no problem finding. Oh hell no! I don't want to deal with the stud I got now. No, I'm realistic on that one, Brian. I thought about that a million times over, and it's like one, I couldn't see starting over. Two, there's just I can't see it. I can't. It's too realistic knowing no matter what the situation is I'm in relationships for somebody who cares about me and that I can talk with and communicate with and have something in common with. There just wouldn't be anything. There just wouldn't be any of the above. And so, yeah, I can't see it, but I get what you're saying. I get it's probably more of a joke, but I just can't. And honestly, honestly, I've already mentioned this before. Filipinos technically aren't my type, anyways. So you guys can get as offended as you want. I just can't. George is the first Asian that I've ever dated. I'm not these other women that said, "Oh, date a Filipina because they're the nicest on earth and they'll treat you better and this and that." For me, I've never dated an Asian, and George was my first, and I don't know if I would. Um, yeah, I don't know if I would ever date after George. After George, my let's just say my heart will just die, and there'll be nobody else. I don't know. Yeah, so that's where it stays. I don't drink alcohol or smoke or eat bread and pasta. Well, that is really awesome. That is great. Well, see, that's where my problem is. I start leaking things in. Like I did a few months where I didn't do any of the difference except for I had the pasta, the rice, all of that was gone. And then I'm like, oh, well, maybe I can just get some wheat wraps or some of the whatever. And then I can put some eggs in there and stuff. And the next thing you know, I was up to George bringing in donuts. He goes, "You're not going to eat one of these donuts?" I said, "I told you I'm not eating." Okay, I'll take a donut. And then it just all slipped up. That's how it starts for me. You can only be so strong when you're going through a lot of shit. Hey, you okay? I had lots of tests and medical checkups before coming here. Me too. And you're right. Medical care in the US is not the best. It depends on the area, and probably getting appointments have become worse. And they had me on way more medication there than I needed to be, over medicated, over pain pilled, everything. Always trying to do procedures that I'm sure were not right, running test after test. We all know the corruption in the medical field when it comes down to the testing and the insurance and how they're making money and how these office managers. I'm not a fool. You ain't gonna fill my head with how that shit works. I know how it is. And here I actually go in and know what I'm looking for. So if you go in and I know that I'm just going in for this and refill on medications, and I know blood work, they pretty much will do that unless you get into some hospitals. You got to be careful because they'll want to run a bunch of tests on you and they'll try to keep you there for a few days. That's the biggest reason when I had that nosebleed, I didn't. I said, damn well, if I go over there, they're going to keep me there wanting to run 100 tests on me. And then next thing you know, we're couple thousand US in medical bills and they'll keep me there. And I said, I'm not going to do it. And so there's a lot going on in the US when it comes to medical, but also there are things that I miss. We have a car, so can pick you up if necessary. We like you more than George. Right. Okay. We'll do that. Or we can just have a barbecue right here. We can just order pizza and donuts. Oh, that hurt. Oh, I feel like that one my brain slosh slosh. Oh shit, Brian. Hold on tight, little buddy. I'm coming for you. The skipper's coming for you, little buddy. Hold on. We'll send our black son over for you. Right? Oh, hey, you gotta go pick up Brian. We'll send our black son. Go pick. You sleep. You sleep, huh? You crazy. Here, come sleep over here. You're gonna fall off there anyways. Lay down. You're so lame. He is always so freaking relaxed. He's, oh, well, careful. Here, lay down. What? He's here. Lay down, silly. Getting clean blood in the Philippines is hard and expensive in a hospital. There. Oh, I know. All right, I'll hold you here. Um, Yeah, that's an actual problem. Here in Angel City, several times recently, people have asked for people to donate the blood and to do things. Yes, that can become a problem also, yes. It seemed easier said than done when I'm like, you know what? How hard could it be dealing with living in the Philippines with your medical issues and this and that? 5 years ago, I was a whole different person. So it is a difference in knowing what you can and won't deal with, how long you can deal with, and be like, dear Lord, if I can just die in my sleep, that would just be nice. But it doesn't work like that, guys. It's not that simple and easy that you think that you're just going to deal with a few problems. Like I was like, oh, I'll just deal with the pain and whatever comes along with the lupus. And it's like in the last year, it's just like you start falling apart, man, like a taco in the rain, getting all soggy and all the lettuce falling out and shit, just falling apart. And it's a bitch. It's just something we don't think about. And found out today his bank and home is in probate, but one brother being doing his stuff with his cash. Oh, dang. Not sure, Kenny. Good morning, Kenny, in the Philippines. Not sure. We know supposedly at that time Filipino that worked there or something took over the business. Whatever happened to why he didn't pay the electricity thing, his employees, somebody said the guy himself, and I don't know, this is all alleged. The guy even had a business back in the US, the one that was funding most of it, just all fell apart. I don't know anything more than that, no updates. And so, not privy to any of that or personal friends with them or hang out in their circle or nothing. So, yeah, married to the Mexican girl. Yeah, they were both foreigners. Yeah, it was taken over allegedly, and we haven't been to the restaurant since then. And Brian said that's all rumors. So I know the only thing that I know is that they said that one of the employees took over. But Filipinos online were stating they weren't being paid, there were unpaid bills, and Brian is saying it's rumors. So yeah, I don't know. It says it was reopened by Ray's brother. Beauty, the most gorgeous girl on YouTube. Whenever I deal with the locals, I speak in Kapampangan and never wear jewelry, only wedding ring and barter in the public market. Yeah, see, George won't barter. I've asked him to. So thanks, Victoria. Appreciate that. YouTube, Google creators have adversarial relationships. Every video uploaded costs energy, memory, and YouTube interest to keep content uploaded low. Yeah. For the most part, as of a few years ago, they really got into people paying for the advertisement. And I know other YouTube channels for a fact, the moment they start paying into advertisement and then they didn't do it every video, then their views have went down. So, and we honestly we can't afford to do that. It just where it is. We're not going to pay to have them push our videos because it wouldn't make any sense. That's not real viewership. It's not real numbers. So, I just can't see it. Same with the farming. You have to keep up on that. There's just something going on now with the algorithm. It's the way they're pushing videos. It really, in my opinion, still is and always will because nothing's changed. It's dealing on luck and some of the topics because we've had stupid topics that weren't even drama that could get 2,000 views. So it just doesn't make any, 2,000 just for the live stream. But and then it's just where it's kind of off. Oh, Thaddeus said 2.65 a gallon in New York, $3.45 a unit. Wow. Best thing is we in the UK buy oil and we are sitting on millions of barrels. Ruby said hubby calls me the Scrooge because I try to save 20 pesos from the vendors. That's George sometimes, though, when it comes to the tips. He doesn't like when, believe it or not, he gave big tips in the US, but here, like, I started doing the 100 peso tips and 50. He's like, yeah, we just give him 20. Sometimes I wonder when he goes out there and pays because we have like all the change in here. And I'll say, here, just give him the 50 or 100. I'm wondering if he does it. So, yeah. Does SNR? Yes. Yeah. Yes, most definitely. Our area calling for hard winter, high winds, tornado types. Local electric company National Grid is upgrading all the power and transformers. To avoid power interruption, the Philippines install a reasonable generator. Yeah. Yeah, we had one and we still do. The problem is draining the gas and keeping the right amount of gas, and then I had George starting it once a week, then he stopped doing that, and now our generator isn't working. So now technically we would have to have somebody drain it, flush it, do something. It's not working anymore. And it wasn't even that old. So our problem at this point is the gas and draining it or the right amount. We haven't found a balance on it. And we're not going to invest currently in one of those that costs 6, 7, 8, 900 US dollars. So right now, we're just relying on we have oversized ones that work temporary. We can run the house on about 10 hours with the battery things that we have. They're like oversized boxes that we invested in. But for us, it was a gas thing. We didn't get past that. We had it for a while. Uh-huh. A Jack Russell Terrier. Is that Rosie B? We had a Jack Russell Boston Terrier. So we called him Dante. Cute little guy. That's like our dog here is mixed. It's not purebred. Well, two different breeds that were pure, but it is mixed. Living in the province town and being known, I cannot say that I get skin text. I'm sure if I was in the big city, I would get it. Ruby says one of the things I enjoy in the Philippines is when you fill up at a petrol station, you'll have an attendant do it for you. It was like that in Mexico too. They clean your windows, good service. Yeah. George told me the other day again to wash the car. And the guy just looked at him. Joke did not translate for the guy. Yay, I caught your live. Hi, Cindy. Okay, yeah, I don't remember saying it, Jim. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, I already spoke on the immigration. I was also reading from other people's statements, but I don't remember on my own mentioning that it wasn't in what I was reading. So, I have never had any problems with immigration. I've heard of complaints. And in the past, I've discussed that other people, without any problems or hesitations, have actually, went right through on their 13A. And initially, they didn't want to take a lot of our paperwork. And George there's an NSA birth certificate, and there's another one they had, and he has his original that had these stamps on it and everything. That's the one they ended up taking from him in the end. It was weird. They made us come in like 3 times for that. And so I just got used to the Philippine, government or the bureaucracy or going through different things. And they're like, nope, you got to go get this, and that. And so we finally brought that one back and then they took it. So, but no, it's interview. Everything else was with the female. Everything went fine. You were reading off a list of issues. Yeah. Okay. And that's probably yeah. All of your documents that come from the US or whatever country you're from has to have a stamp and a piece of paper with it, apostille. It just legitimizes it. And you should do that. I believe it's, I could be wrong. I don't have it right in front of me right now. It's usually with the State Department, I believe. And at that time during the pandemic, it was closed. Like we left at the height of the pandemic when you couldn't go nowhere. We went to New York. We barely got to New York, and that the Philippine embassy was by appointment only. It was crazy. And let's see. So I believe it's currently the State Department, but like if you're here, there are several people that do that, where you can mail it, and that's what we ended up doing. We ended up doing it overseas with an attorney, and they ended up sending it FedEx to us, and that's how we ended up getting ours. So it just can't be a copy, and it just can't be the original. It has to be where it's legitimized, is what apostille basically is. And it should be with a lot of things like your DD 214 for your military, all these things. If you're doing um, different things with immigration, you'd want that. People getting married, like their divorce papers, you'd want to do something like that. Here's the thing. Don't always listen to what I'm saying, okay? Because I'm saying other people did not have it done and they were able to just bring in their documents. But when you do immigration, it is supposed to be a apostille form. It's supposed to be, it just can't be the original. And they kept it. So that document that I had, I did not get back. So it cost me, being as I had to do it overseas with an attorney, 200 and something dollars, 250. But if you have it done before you leave the US, anything that's a serious document, you want to get legitimized and get it apostille. It's because you're using it overseas or in another country. It's usually, most countries want this. But there are other people that said they didn't have to do it at all. And there were people that just gave their originals or copies and they didn't question them. Immigration increased the visa extension fees by 500 pesos. Mark. Oh, you talking about Marcos? I don't know. I seen a video where it appeared to be. I don't know if he's living here. I don't watch him enough to know. Stuff will come up in the feed. So let's see. I have private medical in the UK. I can't believe that. Then again, it's the Philippines. I'm coming to the Philippines too to see things. No woman for me. There you go. Heidi, you had to go back to the US to get documents. No, I ended up doing it online. And I do have a list of that person. There's a lot of companies, and you have to be careful that they're legit. The one that I went with is legit. I believe Jennifer Terry has somebody that she knows, so you can check out Jennifer Terry. She's a YouTube channel. She, I think, officially recently advertised that she's dealing with somebody that does that, and also on her Facebook. So there are legit people. So, but it's going to cost you. Mine was about 250. So yeah, it's better to get it done in a major fraction of the cost before you leave. But if that's what you have to do to get your immigration, then that's what, I don't know what it would cost, but I think it's like $25 if you do it in the US. And it could have went up by then. That's the last time I checked 2 years ago. Hey, what's going on? And you can't get it done. There is no office that does it. You can't do it through the embassy. I think somebody said years and years and years ago, the embassy used to apostille things. And it doesn't make any sense that the US embassy will not authenticate something like your birth certificate. They won't authenticate something like your marriage license. But yet they'll check on all of that so you can get married in the Philippines. It doesn't, but they don't. So I thought it was wild too, because I thought, well, minimally, I'm just going to go take a trip to Manila to go step into the embassy and make an appointment, but it wasn't. Hey, what's going on? Black Grandpa is in the house. Hey, shout out, shout out. Oh, the Tux, the peach tea. I've been drinking more I drink like 2 cups of coffee a day, which is still probably too much. But honestly, my blood pressure does not shoot up like it does for George. I mean, on a bad day, I'm looking at 140 over 80 or something, which isn't the best, but it's not the worst. And that's on medication. So no, but George's can stay way up there sometimes. But so I know tea has caffeine in it, but there are other properties that are good for for tea also. So I get sometimes the decaffeinated ones, the flavored ones. I like tea. Actually, I like tea more than coffee. I like coffee, but I like tea. Bad Boy says one of my mates has gone off to Thailand with no insurance for health. Silly man. And some of them have medical issues, and they're just not with understanding the ramifications of you know and not taking medication or any preventative. Same ones drinking, smoking, um, and a lot of other things. Oh, Curtis says he likes using the Queensland butter and ghee. Yeah. When I get to the Philippines, remind me to stay away from the Dumaguete, the YouTube capital of the Philippines, right? I hear you. Heidi, I was impressed when you spoke about all your medical conditions because you don't look sick at all. Yeah, it's the silent killer. The weight is the biggest thing, is that shows that I'm not well. And then of course, if you would see my leg, like my right leg, you can see how bad the circulation is and the varicose veins. And I am a 54-year-old woman that's had multiple kids and have been through car accidents and everything else. So, but that's the biggest thing that shows, or when I get tired. So, and then of course, I have where I get short of breath because of lupus and the anemia I deal with. And so mine is silent, like George said. People, when they see the lupus, it's just like, oh, well, she's just fat. She caused her own issues. Oh, what was that? Like a moth or something. That was weird. Like a butterfly moth thing just flew around here. But it's it's one day at a time. And honestly, besides my junk food, my own medical conditions has caused me to slow down, which has caused the weight gain. And then 5 years of being on steroids has caused it. And it's just one thing at a time. So I can't even. It does take strength, and he says I can't even get out of bed. It's rough because that's what I wanted to do the last 2 days coming off the steroids. I'm feeling everything now. It's really bad, but I have to push through because I know it can be worse. So I know it could be way, way worse. And I was in a wheelchair a few years ago, based on all my medical conditions. But I don't want to go back there. It was another wake up call. George's dad and his grandmother and the things we've been dealing with is another wake up call. And then I just had where you guys heard me previous live stream, I could barely talk. Where and when did you get the bronze gorilla that you have seen? That was in Florida, I don't know, 6, 7 years ago, about 7 when me and George met. And it was, can't tell you, it was like Bell's Outlet or something, like where they had that in Florida. I think it was Bell's or Bell's Outlet. We used to go into both. So it was just on one of those shelves with all those different things that are for the offices and for the houses and stuff. And I was like, yeah, he's pretty cool. They had bigger ones. And as a matter of fact, we've had him for a long time. We brought him in our suitcase. It's the one thing we held on to. Like the dog belongs to my grandmother. That's from the 50s. The one that you see up on there, the Schnauzer. And but no, we've had him for a while. There's a lot of things we brought. We had shipped a couple boxes through the Billick buy-in in the beginning. I give 100%. I give 100 peso tip or 10% when we're eating out. No service charge on the bill. I do appreciate good customer service, and I know their daily minimum wage. Yeah. Yep. Well, I have to be careful giving out hundreds all the time. I probably would, but there's a big portion of the time it's just George by himself. So the banking guy, George is not kidding. The guy, we're in a parking lot where there is no traffic, and I was giving the guy 100 pesos. When George went there himself, he goes, I felt really awkward not giving him 100. And so he says, I'm just not going to do it. And so he said, then that would get to be a norm and stuff. And so it's there are different amounts to actually give out. We tend to do just about that. We try to figure the 10%, but it depends. So, and some of them, like I believe on Food Panda, I think it's average. There's like different amounts, and depending, we just hit the 40 or we give the tips when they actually arrive here in cash because we know adding it to the apps is not that good. I think they have to wait to get those. Hey Thera, did full car detailing and the cost me 5,000. The car looked new. You paid 5,000 pesos for someone to detail your car. Now, see, some things, in my opinion, are way overpriced, and the Filipinos are charging way too much for the wages versus even the jobs they do sometimes. Now, you're saying it looked good and it was worth it. Um, was that like waxed and everything? I mean, was that full detail or was that just them wiping out, doing the windows and everything else? Because $100 to me would be expensive in the US as far as, going, the car, some of the car washes, like when I would have the SUV done and everything, and we'd go through, it's the one you'd pay like 18 something, and it had the waxing, and they did all the, like this, the full car wash thing. And then they would go and do whatever arm oil and different things on the inside, the vacuuming and all that. And the most that would cost is $50 altogether with a tip. So I couldn't imagine unless they're putting on full wax here. But there was something else. Oh, I think it is. I seen a chiropractor office the other day, and they wanted 5,000 just to sit there and talk with them. And I'm like, I'm not paying $100 in the Philippines to go in and sit down with a chiropractor. I'm just not going to do it. Um, and that's not a whole lot going on. So to me, I'm like, how is a Filipino affording 5,000 to go in? And they show nothing but Filipinos in there, and come in because you have a headache or come in because of this, and they're paying 5,000 pesos to walk into an office. I just can't see it. Some things are, you know, I don't know. But people will start saying, okay, but it costs this in the US and it costs that in Canada. But I'm like, but that's not, it's not where it is. And I don't know. Which SIM is best SIM card to buy? We have both. We have two different ones. We have Globe, and then the other one we have is Smart. So we have a dual SIM card in the phones, and we do both depending on the area because we could be a half a mile up the road and one won't work. So we keep both. So it will depend on where you're at, whether they're working or not. So if you have local contacts, then best to ask them. Yeah, either Globe or Smart. Yep, there you go. Heidi, why don't you hype your videos? It supposedly brings attention to your videos, even if you accumulate points. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Apostille documents are done by the state of Texas. I don't know about that. I'm not aware that they're accepting state. It's got to be federal level. They said, I believe it's State Department, Raymond, because I had a seal on my marriage certificate. It was an actual certificate, and that's what the state of Florida told us it was. It was apostille. When I got here to the Philippines, they said, no, that's not what we're looking for. It had to be apostille by, I believe, the State Department. And that was through, one second. It says it's issued by the Secretary of State, the U.S. Department. Yeah. Yeah, it's not by the state, it's done by the government. So whoever's doing that in the state is sending it off to the US Department, because that's what the attorney did in that state, but the state themselves weren't the ones. For a document to be received to be apostille, it must first be authenticated by the US federal government. So not by the state. The state, somebody in that state might be doing it, but the state seal that they put on there, they rejected me for 2 years ago. So, and at that time, it was closed down. When me and George got married, nothing was open. We couldn't even go to Miami to get his passport. We had to go to the only open embassy, which was in New York. And when we were in New York, so many of the hotels were closed down, not taking anybody. We ended up staying in New Jersey. So it was crazy. It was it was exhilarating and scary at the same time at that time. So yes, it's federal. That's what I thought. I mean, I don't know. My brain's kind of wishy-washy, but it is done federally. Globe, yeah, is the most city-centered. Yeah. My youngest daughter, Jessica, wants to come with me for a month. She will be okay. Probably will really enjoy it. It's really different. Why not 50 instead of 100? Are you talking about like on the tips? It tends to be 50. Because like the one day that I gave it, it was raining and stuff, and he was just standing there with the umbrella. And then the next time I did, because like, okay, I gave him 100 last time. George goes, "You got to stop doing that." And then he went to the bank a few times on his own. He goes, he was looking at me really weird when I gave him 20 pesos or 50. And like you said, it's inside of an, a parking lot that isn't even on the main street. So he's just being paid for nothing. You're just doing it because, and you're going to find that in the Philippines. You're just doing it. You're giving extra just because. It's not always for good service. It's just where it is. It's honest. Okay, Ruby did say it still seems high, even for full buff wax and everything in the Philippines. It still seems high, but that could just be me being cheap. I just could not imagine. So, yeah, yeah, she's saying with 100 you can buy a local meal. Yeah. All right, guys, I think I'm going to wrap it up here, and I appreciate everybody dropping in. And thank you again for 5 years with our anniversary. And there's George. He says thank you. And thank you to all the comments and everybody in here and all those that have supported the channel. And I appreciate everybody dropping in. And then I will see you guys. Let's see, what is Thursday? Should be Saturday and Sunday. So up and coming weekend. Thank you guys and take care.